President Ilham Aliyev and First Lady Mehriban Aliyeva came to Hovsan settlement of Surakhani district to participate in the inauguration of Hovsan Residential Complex of the State Housing Development Agency. Chair of the Board of State Housing Development Agency, Sadiq provided information to the Head of State and First Lady on the complex, as well as second stage of Hovsan Residential Complex and projects implemented in Ganja and Sumgait cities. Under the leadership of President Ilham Aliyev, accelerated development was recorded in all the areas and comprehensive development of our country was provided. Today, Azerbaijan is among the rare countries providing for the successful implementation of social projects, and this process is of consistent character. All of this was made possible as a result of the efforts of the head of state. President Ilham Aliyev pays special attention to further improvement of the social welfare of population and keeps constantly in the focus of attention the works carried out in this direction. The projects undertaken in the social sphere are distinguished with their significance and scope. All the necessary works were carried out and are currently underway in order to provide for the strengthening of social protection of population, resolution of social issues, and to provide for the consistency of the steps taken in this direction. From that perspective, the commissioning of the Hovsan Residential Complex, being the second project of the State Housing Development Agency, has a special role. The implementation of this project is next and a clear manifestation how carefully President Ilham Aliyev approaches the resolution of social issues of our citizens. This project is distinguished with its significance in terms of meeting the demand of population for living space, improving their housing conditions, and provision of construction of multi-apartment residential buildings in contemporary architectural style, meeting the environmental and energy-saving demands. 20 hectares of land in Hovsan settlement was allocated in February of 2017 to the agency. On December 24th of the same year was the participation of President Ilham Aliyev and First Lady Mehriban Aliyeva. The groundbreaking ceremony of the first 7-story building took place. During the design, a big area was allocated for the courtyards, building of playgrounds, and special attention was paid to the landscaping and improvement of areas. Here, overall, 11 residential buildings were built. 4 of them are 10-story buildings with 1 entrance, and 7 of them are 7-story buildings with 18 entrances. The number of apartments in the residential complex is 2,962. Out of that number, 280 apartments are 1-room, 1,401 apartments are 2-room, 980 apartments are 3-room, and 301 apartments are 4-room apartments. The apartments are fully renovated and are offered to citizens, supplied with kitchen furniture and individual heating system. 96% of the materials used in the renovation of the apartments and construction of the complex are locally manufactured. Based on the appeal of the commission established with the decree of President Ilham Aliyev on the measures to strengthen social protection of military servicemen of the armed forces of the Republic of Azerbaijan, 436 fully renovated apartments are allocated in the complex to provide military servicemen with apartments. Here, also a school building was constructed. All the conditions are established in 1,920-seat secondary school. The classrooms are supplied with necessary education means. The conditions created in this educational facility show that the works carried out over the recent years to strengthen the logistical base of the education sphere and to modernize it are of consistent character. All this led to the fact that Azerbaijan's education system embarked on a qualitatively new level. The complex also houses 2 kindergartens, both with a capacity of 90 children. Here, comprehensive opportunities are available to ensure the rest and effective organization of the leisure time of these children. Hovsan Residential Complex is the second project of the agency. The apartments of the first project, Hovsan Residential Complex, have been sold out. So the housing conditions of 1,654 families who acquired apartments in concessional terms have improved. Following the acquaintance with Hovsan Residential Complex, President Ilham Aliyev gave interview to Azerbaijan television. President Ilham Aliyev said despite sharp drop in oil prices in the world market, all large-scale social projects were being implemented successfully in Azerbaijan on his initiative, and the grandiose Hovsan project was a bright evidence. The other state gave information about the work done in this regard, said Azerbaijan was continuing its social policy successfully, and that complex was an evidence of the process. President Ilham Aliyev said the foundation of the complex was laid 3 years ago. It housed up to 3,000 apartments, a big school building for 2,000 pupils, 2 kindergartens and a polyclinic. Approximately 12,000–15,000 people would live there. The head of state reiterated that social projects were being implemented in Azerbaijan at the highest level, added that powerful economy allowed realizing all projects and social programs. President Ilham Aliyev called last year significant, mentioned that welfare of 4.2 million people was improved as minimum wages and pensions were increased last year. The head of state said minimum wages had been doubled, minimum pensions increased by 70%, added that Azerbaijan ranked the first in the CIS in terms of purchasing power of the minimum pension. President Ilham Aliyev said at the same time social infrastructure projects were being implemented and that small town was one of them. The head of state said record number 7,000 flats would be given to the internally displaced people this year. Last year their number was 5,000. President of Azerbaijan said 1,500 flats would be given to the martyr families. Noting that other social-oriented projects were being implemented successfully, those centers were opening in the country. President Ilham Aliyev expressed confidence that more would be done in the social sector this year. Asked about the coronavirus pandemic worldwide and the measures taken in this regard in Azerbaijan, the head of state said thanks to preventive measures, the situation was under control. But even in big cities of the developed countries, the pandemic had led to catastrophic consequences. In some countries, hundreds, 500, 600 people die every day. This shows that even the most developed countries cannot consider themselves to be fully insured in this situation. Therefore, I think that concrete decisions and the roadmap adopted by us allow us to control the situation today. We took it seriously from the very beginning. We started to act even when the disease was spread far away, said President Ilham Aliyev, and added that the Emergency Response Center was set up immediately under the Cabinet of Ministers. Citizens were regularly informed about the measures. Drawing attention to the direct contact with the World Health Organization, President Ilham Aliyev said the representatives of the organization visited Azerbaijan and reviewed the situation. They highly appreciated the work done by the Azerbaijani government. Of course, their recommendations are important for us. Most of the decisions made by us are based on their recommendations, practice, and the negative practice of the countries where there is pandemic. We should not repeat and do not repeat those mistakes, said President Ilham Aliyev. The head of state underlined that all land borders had been closed immediately. Measures taken to evacuate the citizens of Azerbaijan from abroad. 10,000 Azerbaijani citizens had returned home. Noting that the number of flights had been reduced sharply, the head of state said it was part of the prophylactic measures. The head of state said new laboratories had been purchased, tests obtained, more than 10 hospitals had been allocated for quarantine and treatment of patients both in Baku and different regions of the country. President Ilham Aliyev mentioned that schools, kindergartens, higher educational institutions had been closed. Work schedule of catering facilities had been restricted. The other said the issue regarding the wages of the doctors treating the patients had been solved. They would receive 3 to 5 times of their salary, thanked the doctors and called on all the citizens to support them. The head of state said the additional restrictive measures imposed on March 14th and yesterday were well-timed and aimed at protecting ourselves, the state, people, especially the elderly people. President Ilham Aliyev noted that under his instructions, social workers would be mobilized to provide lonely elderly people, said volunteers should join this activity, contact the Emergency Response Center and the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection of Population. The other said the ministry had been instructed to provide the lonely old people with medicines and food products. President Ilham Aliyev expressed confidence that traditions and national values of our people would help us in fighting against this virus, underlined that there was always deep respect for the elderly people. President Ilham Aliyev said the work done up to now was well-timed. The state was doing and would do its best, but much also depended on the citizens in the fight against this tragic disease. The head of state once again urged the citizens to be responsible, observe the new rules, special quarantine, said their health and the health of their relatives were in their hands. President Ilham Aliyev said the state was doing its best, but the responsibility and discipline of citizens would make our fight more successful. Asked about the donations made by individuals and organizations to the fund to support fight against coronavirus, the other said Azerbaijan had demonstrated leadership in this sphere too. President Ilham Aliyev said he was told that similar funds were being established in some other countries, underlined that it was not the first time that the initiatives put forward by Azerbaijan were followed by other countries and led to the similar steps. The other said the main goal of the fund was to strengthen the national solidarity, to allow everyone to demonstrate his position as a citizen, demonstrate solidarity. Let's demonstrate to ourselves and the whole world that we are great people, said President Ilham Aliyev. The other said 60 million manats had been donated to the fund, mentioned that the names of all the citizens and companies that donated to the fund and the sum were available on the website coronavirusinfo.us. President Ilham Aliyev once again expresses gratitude to all, underlined that it showed our unity and our strengths. Asked about the allocation of 1 billion manats to the Cabinet of Ministers for boosting the economy, President Ilham Aliyev said it was also a priority. The other state said the problems related to employment came first among the measures. President Ilham Aliyev said though the situation related to cargo shipping was still stable, weakening of economic ties and economic activity could have a negative impact on employment first of all. Therefore, the main goal in allocating 1 billion manats was to provide state support for entrepreneurship and businesses, support the entrepreneurs affected by the consequences of the disease. The head of state once again urged the entrepreneurs not to reduce the number of employees as it contradicted our initiative of solidarity. President Ilham Aliyev said special financial support would be provided to the most vulnerable entrepreneurs, tax concessions would be provided, and other measures would be taken. Speaking about the achievements gained in the economic sphere this year, the other state said the population's incomes had grown by 9%, while inflation was only 2.8%. GDP grew by 2.8%, non-oil economy by 6.7%, industrial production in the non-oil sector grew by 21.7%. The head of state reiterated that the entire activity of the government aimed at overcoming this complicated situation with minimal losses, and every citizen should understand that if there is no unity between the government and citizens, all will suffer from bitter consequences of this disease. President Ilham Aliyev asked the citizens to be responsible, support their relatives' older generation, protect themselves, their children, and observe the special quarantine. The head of state expressed confidence that the national solidarity, responsibility, and national unity would allow us overcome this disease.
Çok sağ olun Cenab-ı Prezident. Suallarımıza ətraflı cavablandırdınız.
Sağ ol.
Minnətdarıq. Çox
Sağ ol.